Perhaps, but it means more than that. It means pioneering medical solutions to predict new flu viruses. It means leading globally diverse teams to eliminate starvation in developing countries. And it means being home to one of the nation's top cybersecurity programs. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news from the NFL. The Bears, for a second straight day, making a move to beef up their offensive line to provide better protection for quarterback Caleb Williams. Agreed on a trade to acquire two-time All-Pro guard Joe Thuney from the Chiefs for a 2026 fourth-round pick. Yesterday, Bears agreed to a deal to acquire guard Jonah Jackson from the Rams. Williams was sacked 68 times in 2024, his rookie year. According to figures finalized this week by Major League Baseball, the Mets led the sport in spending for a third straight season in 2024 and have totaled $1.3 billion in payroll and luxury tax in 4 years under owner Steve Cohen, more than what the Marlins, Pirates, Rays have spent on players the last 21 seasons. NBA doubleheader, league-leading Cavaliers, winners of 11 straight, host the Heat, 7 Eastern ESPN. Then the West-leading Thunder visit the Grizzlies.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation. But did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an fighting organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Havoc Hour. John Abraham, looking forward to talking with a bunch of Havoc players, the coaches, all of that good stuff here at Zambruski's Tavern at the Huntsville Iceplex, presented by Jen DiTullio and Stockton Mortgage, your power play and mortgage lending company. Is what I would have said, Joe, if we had a Havoc Hour last night, because the dang wind, even though Grace, she told us, she said, hey, that wind's going to get pretty crazy. She didn't tell us that it would end up canceling the Havoc Hour. And I just want everybody to know that, this wasn't something that we knew. We probably found out at the same time. Hey, Meryl. I haven't seen her in a minute. Yeah. It was something we didn't know until most of the people online knew. That's the thing.
Yeah, no. So I get this phone call from John at 5:24. I remember exactly when it was last night because I was over at UAH, and John calls at like 5:24. And I'm looking at my watch and I'm looking at my phone. I'm going, oh crap. Okay. I was like, I thought I set everything up. Like the moment that I left the building here yesterday, I went over to set my laptop up so that we had Zone TV and WZZN TV.
Well, that's a good name, Zone TV.
It really is. It would really be a good name. And so, I was like, okay, I've got all this set up for him. John's good. And so when you called yesterday, I thought, oh crap, did something go wrong? Is he needing help with something? And I need to show him what to do? Like I was so confused. And the first thing you say to me is, did you hear the news? And the first thing I thought is, oh God, who died? Who got traded? What is happening?
Well, that happens a lot wherever I say a name, and then I'm just like, I say it so monotone that you're thinking anything could happen. There's possibly going to be a death, but it's usually not.
No.
One.
So you said it, and as you said it, we are standing up for the national anthem before the men's game against Lee yesterday at UAH. And so you can see this on WZZ and TV. So I have the phone in my ear, and the PA announcer is like, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please rise, and gentlemen, kindly remove your caps. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? And I'm standing right beside the PA guy. I'm like, are you kidding me? And about that time, I turn around and I look up to the second level where Moulton is, and all I see is Moulton going, yep,
Yeah.
I'm going, wait, when did this happen?
In a different world, we're in a medieval Colosseum, and he's got you to the thumb, and he goes, he just goes straight down with it. It's like, yeah, it's been done.
And it was so funny because he knew what I was taught, why I was looking at him, because he couldn't hear me. I mean, I was probably 30, 40 feet away from him. He had his headphones on. Scott's talking down on the baseline because he's doing the basketball game coverage with Steve.
Place was packed, by the way.
Place was slammed packed with people. I mean, it was loud. And I turn around and look at him, and our eyes met. And he's just like, dude, I am so sorry. Like, I really genuinely am.
You know, whenever you're about to go to war, I know we don't have this exactly, but you know, you're about to go to war, you're about to play this football game or just get into this event that's going to be high adrenaline, high rush. Of course, we planned all day for it. Of course, you helped out quite a bit with it because you didn't want to see your baby go off alone.
I am very protective of my things.
It felt like that. It felt like the game just got canceled. I was like, the anticipation was rearing up. I was in the zone. I was in the pocket, Joe. And to have that snatched away from me, I had to do something to fill that void that was just taken from me.
I feel like this is for me. When I was playing baseball, we would get to the stadium, we would have our music going. Like, again, you have to have your song right before you step off the bus. Like, that's kind of the thing. And you're doing it, and you're there, and you're like, all right, got my headphones on. I got my earbuds in. I'm stepping off the bus. Let me grab my bag. I turn around. I look at the field, and then they go, hey guys, game's canceled. Ooh. What do you mean game's canceled? Like, what do you mean? We just drove all this way. Like, you couldn't have told us like 2 or 3 hours ago.
It was just, there was a sickness. The other team they're not able to play. So it's going to go down as a forfeit.
It's really the Black Plague. It's so crazy. I don't know how they even got that in this time of day and time. But look, in all seriousness in this, because I do know that a lot of Havoc fans were upset because of the timing in which it happened. And I wanted to say, because I asked Moulton about this, he and I talked about it after the UAH game. You and I have talked about it as well. You were there.
I was there.
Like, you were set up. You were ready to go. You were good to there were Havoc fans that were already starting to pile into Zambruski's, because we did tell you be there early.
Paul was already there, and I got to at least talk with him for a little bit. So that's a good experience.
Yes. And I if you don't know who Paul is, I'm going to explain Paul here in just a second. And there were people that were starting to show up. This was a safety issue with the Iceplex. Okay. This is why I'm saying it on them, because they were just doing this because it's not just all of us that are Havoc fans and you and myself that do the Havoc Hour every single week that were showing up. They had tons of kids' practices that were going on. There were figure skating lessons that were happening in Rink 2. There were a lot of other events that were going to be happening. And yes, we talked to Grace Anello about it yesterday, and she said, look, I don't think it's going to result in any tornadoes. I think it's just going to be a lot of heavy wind, but we're talking like 65 to 70 miles per hour winds that just now, remember, like an F1 tornado. Like, she starts talking about it, and that says is less wind than what we're going to see tomorrow.
And it stuck with me. It got serious whenever she said that it's probably safe to just stay inside for that hour and a half that it would be going down for. And be off of the road.
Yes.
And then she was also talking, especially if you're driving a bigger vehicle, because it will get pushed over.
Well, and in fact, I saw video last night in Missouri of an 18-wheeler that was driving down the interstate, and because of the heavy wind, got blown over. Wasn't doing anything wrong, wasn't driving crazy, wasn't driving reckless, was even driving slow, but that happened. So this is the equivalent of letting your kids out on a day when you think bad weather is going to happen. We think a snowstorm is going to happen. And it was more about the safety of everybody at the Iceplex, as far as the kids, the families, all the people that normally go in and out of the Iceplex on a Tuesday night because of weather. And that's the reason why it happened. Okay. So it's really just one of those bad circumstances that nobody did on purpose. There's no reason to be mad at us. There's no reason to be mad at the Havoc or the Iceplex. I can't act like I knew about the storm coming in because I didn't find out about it until yesterday morning.
No.
But that was the reason why I do it, because it wasn't just about the 200 some odd people that come into Zambruski's on a Tuesday night at 6:00 for the Havoc Hour. It's about the 300 other families that are going to be at the Iceplex, and you don't want them to feel like they needed to come to practice, because again, you pay for that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And even through the bad weather, look, I was very surprised because we had people before the women's game last night at UAH start to go, so is everything going on as scheduled? Like, are we all good? I was going, well, yeah, I guess. Why?
Yeah,
and,
we're gonna get dubs.
and
What
then,
are you talking about?
Please, I mean, come on. Okay, both games were a lot closer at the half.
I know.
And so, yeah, no. When you go back and you look at how the evening played, it poured down rain all night. It was it was extremely breezy. Like, I had my iPad in my hands. The only thing I kept, because I let John use my bag. And I get out of my car just to walk into Spraggins, and my iPad, I was like having to hold on to it tight because the wind kept trying to blow it away.
Yeah. I saw a freaking tumbleweed, Joe.
Oh,
yeah,
all the way from Arizona.
That's when you know it's
Ooh.
getting windy. And I was
over.
over.
It's high noon.
I was
One
over,
of the two.
I was over there at John Hunt Park, which I know you'll be at today.
Yes, actually, I'm going to be leaving here in a couple hours, right when the show ends, because UAH lacrosse is playing over at John Hunt Park today.
Going to be a lot of fun.
So,
I might even have to stop by that. Oh wait.
Yeah, no, you're amazing for filling in for me while I go do that, so that you can be with Thomas. I appreciate that.
We don't run this whole station, do we?
Steve helps.
I'm not taking anything away from anybody else.
No,
we all do a
trust
lot
me.
of work.
No, everybody does a ton of work. But no, it was one that I definitely think that we all need to just be honest with ourselves. And like, yes, it sucked that we weren't having a Havoc Hour. You were going to get Matt Allen. You were going to get Reggie. There was going to be a lot of fun things that John and I had come up with for John to be asking the guys. And so, hopefully all we're doing is just pushing this back a week. I do apologize to John because I'm pretty sure this is going to be the only shot that you were going to have to host this thing again, because I don't think there's going to be another conflict of schedule for me for the remainder of the season.
I don't know. We'll see, Joe. I mean, there seems like a lot of conflicts, but at the same time, you're usually free at 6:00 on a Tuesday. But I will say this.
I've come in on two wheels a couple of times.
I'm a little bit upset about it, just because of the fact that the first time I did it was the second week. It was still early in the season, still getting to know the guys. Now I know a majority of these dudes. I've watched a lot more of the games. And I felt like I could have had a knockout show.
Well, and the part is Matt kind of hopped in on the chat last week when we were talking to the Procopios about, was it Matt that asked the flat earth question?
I don't know if that was last week.
Yeah, it was last week. I couldn't remember if it was, I couldn't remember if that was Benito or if that was Matt Allen that asked
it was
question.
Benito. Matt Allen, I think he got in a few weeks prior. I think whenever he first actually got back from Maine, which he's still yet to be on the Havoc Hour.
Yes, he's the only one that between him and Taylor Joseph, which, I mean, Taylor Joseph literally that man dressed out the other night for the Bulls game, and half of his gear was still Knoxville Ice Bears gear.
Oh, you love that.
Like, the funny thing about a goalie is, what do you never see with the goalie because of the gear? You never see their pants or their shorts and their socks, because it doesn't matter, because their gear is so covered up with their pads that it doesn't matter what they wear. And so with him, he had his Knoxville Ice Bears pants on. And so all this stuff was orange and white. And so it was just kind of like, all right. Yeah.
In this league, you might not want to get custom pads, but maybe you can paint over them.
That's why Robo has all black and white.
Yeah.
I've seen them. Yeah. And a lot of goalies have all black and white, but those are really the only two guys that haven't been on there. And I was looking forward to talking to Reggie, because I wanted to get you to ask him about the t-shirt that's on sale at the Havoc shop.
Yes.
Because it's the one that has his face on it. It's got like a whole 90s Dale Earnhardt NASCAR look to it. I want to know whose idea it was and all of that. So hopefully, we basically just push this back a week and those guys will be on with us next week.
Yeah. And at the same time, I was about to tell Cole, I was about to be straight up with him. I was like, dude, I'm just sorry that you've had to have 2 experiences on the show, and it's been with me. And you haven't got to experience the Joe Hunk edition of the show.
Well, and heaven knows what was going to happen in 7 days.
Yeah.
Let's hope that, nothing does. But it's going to be, it was one that was cool there. And I do appreciate John stepping up to do that. I do hate the fact that the show ended up getting canceled.
What are you going to do?
Well, no, it's obviously weather related. It wasn't like, we were doing anything on purpose. Trust me, we were set up hours in advance. But then I turned around and I saw what happened last night at UAH, and that event for both the men and the women, and the amount of people that showed up at Spraggins Hall for these basketball games, when yes, it was pouring down rain, especially in between the women's and the men's game. Both games absolutely tremendous to watch. It is so much fun watching both teams shoot the basketball. Yeah, because with you look at with the way that these girls are, whether it's Millie Brown on the girls team, or if you see like what Tommy Murr does on the men's team, like those two, just watching them shoot the 3 is so incredibly fun. You had somebody like Alexis Woods, which Lexi last night, I looked at the SID for basketball the moment that she made that shot that she made, and I looked at him and I said, at the end of the year, that shot better be a part of the highlight package, because she literally faked her defender off, turned back around, did a fadeaway jumper right from the free throw line. The only thing that was not and would have made that more perfect is if she would have yelled Kobe. That's it. The rest of it was gorgeous with what happened. And then you also have the dunk that happened in the game that I posted on my Instagram feed. I showed you that this morning.
That was a soaring eagle if I've ever seen one.
He can glide, man.
Yeah,
he can glide. It is so much fun watching him play. And matter of fact, I did put it up on my Instagram. You can go follow me at Joe Hunk. But it is so much fun to watch these players play in the way that they have been playing, and the fact that they're going to be going now down to Birmingham and going. And Austin Leslie and that dunk that he had last night. I mean, you want to talk about every single person jumped out of their seats. It was one of those.
Yeah, and it's not like a dunk where you're just like, oh, it's a breakaway and he's wide open. It was a little bit of a breakaway, but he had a man on him and he literally just jumped and just glided on top of him and then just slammed the ball down. And it was just like,
they're athletic people. Like Tommy Murr is extremely athletic. You can see the athleticism between those guys. Austin Leslie just glides. I don't know how it is possible. He is so smooth when running on the court. It is so beautiful to watch. And that man, I would love to know what his vertical is, because he can get up. And I put the video, go look at my story on Instagram, because I reposted it because the GSC posted that with him in it. And oh my, I mean, tomahawk, it brought everybody out of their seats, and it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, definitely was. Delta State's the next opponent again.
True Delta State
in Birmingham. That one's going to be on March 8th, so it's going to be this Saturday. Look forward to
men and
that
women.
one.
Yeah, men and women both
sir.
play on Saturday.
Who are the women playing?
The women is Lee.
Lee. Oh yeah,
they play Lee.
Flames. Yep.
Yeah. See, so UAH men played Lee last night, and the women will play Lee on Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It's going to be a very fun weekend, because we don't just have, of course, the UAH Chargers, but also on top of that, SEC basketball, as well as some games from around the league as well, just of college basketball. But tonight, of course, going to be pretty big, going to be pretty intense. If you were listening to Talking Ball, they had a few guests on that we are familiar with to talk a little bit about that matchup. So if you guys missed out on that, WZZN TV is the place to be. But we will talk a little bit of Alabama hoops as they look forward to a top rank. This is the first time we've seen it. A team ahead of them in the form of Florida facing off in Coleman tonight. This one's important, Joe.
No, it's massively important. And I think that for Alabama, especially in this place that they are with Florida, it's not so much about the NCAA tournament, because I mean, both Alabama and Florida, as well as Tennessee and Auburn, like they know that they're in. I think the joke is there's about 3 or 4 teams in this league right now that could probably forfeit the remainder of their games and still make it into the tournament. Nobody would bat an eye, and they would still be seated the same.
Texas A&M might be one of those teams at this point now.
Texas A&M.
We'll get into that conversation.
That definitely is next. Also, when we come back, Havoc are going to be having an event for you next week. that we need to be talking about. We were going to talk about it during the Havoc Hour tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Our last night, but we'll tell you about it when we come back as well, because you definitely want to make plans for next Thursday. We'll explain why we come back. He is John Abraham. I am Joe Hunk. This is the Blitz on ESPN Winchester, 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and WZZN TV.
Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships, March 11th through the 15th at the BBC Probst Arena, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with CUSA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. Find out who's going to be putting on their dancing shoes. Tickets as low as $40. Visit Ticketmaster.com today to experience Conference USA hoops in the Rocket City, March 11th through 15th.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
Listen to UAH Charger basketball all season long.
So when we came out of the timeout, Coach Hedge had initially called a man play, and they ended up faking a zone. So the whole bench was yelling zone, zone, zone. So we tried to switch the play last second. We ended up getting confused. So Tommy swung it to me, and I initially was like, all right, I'm going to try and get to the rim right here. We're only down 2. We don't need a 3. And he flipped his hips real hard, and I tossed it back, and as soon as I let it go, I knew it was in.
Campbell to plug it in. 81-79 Union. Inbounds it goes. Dribbling it out, and Tommy Murs swings it over to Campbell. Campbell on the wing for the lead. Oh my God! Blake Campbell! It's a 3! Into the front court for the win! No good! No good! No good! Blake Campbell with some onions from Jackson, Tennessee!
97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Drive.
You know, both those guys have done a good job in what we've asked them to do, and both of them have developed nicely, and both of them have consistently made plays.
Wes and Steve.
Their decision-making, their judgment, their ability not to force things and take what the defense gives and distribute the ball with good decision-making, down in, down out, is probably the only thing that's going to be any different about them, because it's not physical ability or talent. So it's intangibles, leadership, decision-making, judgment, and all those types of things. And, both guys have done a good job in that regard as well.
Listen to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton each weekday afternoon starting at 5. We are your home of ESPN Radio, 97.7 The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-50s. Still going to be breezy across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Sustained winds 20 to 30 miles per hour. Wind gusts 35 to 40 miles per hour. Now the wind finally going to begin to die down as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Going to be a cold night across the Tennessee Valley. We're starting the day in the lower 30s. Under a mostly to partly sunny sky, temperatures only climb into the lower 50s. Dropping into the mid-30s through the overnight. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky for your Friday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We are your home for March Madness.
Hit the corner. Jingles. Right corner 3. Oh, it's a Tennessee Blitz. The Volunteers dominating the Creighton Blue Jays in the second half.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I really liked how that line lined up with this thing. Jeez. Welcome back in to the most energetic show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Most days.
What'd you say? I didn't have you queued up.
Most days. I need to issue an apology. I'm actually shooting out a message about it right now.
I mean, look, Joe, we do a lot. All right, we can be tired, especially because it's in the morning. But there's nothing to stop us from being the most energetic people on the station.
So yesterday we had Grace on.
Yeah.
And what was the one thing that she started talking about when it comes to the weather and the temperatures going up and down and all that sort of stuff?
You'll feel some nooks and crannies. Is that candies? Nooks and
crannies are like in a house.
No, I know, but it works with the body as well because it's your domain. It's your foundation. I got a little bit of a cranny. I said it cranty, and it just sounded like Canty and Carla in the morning. Neck is kind of
your head's going to be a little bit foggy and it may need to get checked out and/or protected, kind of like what Fleming Roofing and Restoration do for your house.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is that I told her, hey, I'm not taking any of my allergy meds or anything like that. And she says, well, why not? You should have been doing that like before Valentine's Day. You should have started taking it daily after that because of all the weather. I'm like, Grace, we're fine. Everything is good.
I forgot about that. Yeah. What was the stuff that you're supposed to take?
Is it Zyrtec?
Okay.
I think it was Zyrtec. She said,
like that.
I knew the moment that the storm was coming into Huntsville last night because my body started to ache so bad while I was at the game. And all of my meds were with John because they were at Zambrewski's for the Havoc Hour.
I was watching over them respectively.
Yes, yeah, he was taking care of them. And so I wake up and I'm going through this whole basketball game. And I mean, like, it's one of those, when your body starts to ache, you're like just kind of moving around trying to find a comfortable spot. It just can't happen.
It's like when the sciatica hits.
Yeah, my sciatica. And so that started to happen the moment the storm went through. So I did start taking my Zyrtec last night, but I still do feel like crap today because I waited way too late to start doing this. So yes, I need to issue an apology to her because she was right. I probably should have started a little bit sooner on that.
Yeah,
absolutely should have.
If you're smart, you definitely would. No, it's totally fine.
I wasn't,
because I don't take any of that stuff, and I'm more worried about my house and how well it keeps up, as well as the shingles. And you said it, Joe. Fleming Roofing and Restoration are the people you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online. FlemingHSV.com is the place to find them. To fill out your free quote today, and remember that Fleming always shows up.
My wife is actually on the road right now, and she hates when I talk medical stuff because she knows that I normally screw something up in the verbiage.
Yeah. Does she work in like a doctor's office or something?
She does medical research, and so everybody has like their things that I'm trying to think of the word of what you call it, like their pet peeves is what it is.
Okay.
Hers is pronunciation of medical terms properly. And so now it's just gotten to the point where I just do it now just to mess with her. Like I'll say things wrong the entire time. She's like, oh, this right here hurts. Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's your sciatica. Oh, yeah, things like that. Maybe it's your medulla oblongata. Like I just say dumb things like that. And
sciatica is usually the case though, Joe. Okay. So you never be wrong with that.
Hates it. So she just texted me a second ago. She's like, you're talking medical and it's making me cringe. Sorry.
You got to teach me more.
No. Not happening.
Well,
okay.
This is on you then.
It is on me. It is on me. Just like Auburn losing last night to Texas A&M is on them.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it is true.
But Joe, I don't think this Auburn team actually cared that they lost.
If there was going to be a game that you were going to pick for Auburn to lose over the next two that they had between A&M and Alabama, which one were you going to pick? Because I'm picking the one on the road, the game after they clinched the regular season championship.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. I mean, this is a game you have a few players out for your team. On top of that, of course, you're coming off of the high of winning the regular season championship, and of course, I mean, you look forward to your senior night against Alabama, but this one's back at home, so obviously it's going to be a tough challenge, but. This game against Texas A&M, I mean, it couldn't matter less. For Texas A&M, this is a huge game, okay? This is going to help them out in the seeding of the SEC tournament as well as, of course, the NCAA tournament. But when it comes to Auburn, it doesn't really change anything. I mean, you get one more loss on the away side of your record, but at the end of the day, Auburn's still riding hot at number 1 in the country.
No, and they're riding hot, but it also doesn't matter that they lost. In all reality, if Auburn right now was going to be playing Mizzou, Vanderbilt, Georgia, any of those teams on Saturday, they probably wouldn't even care about losing on Saturday. It's the fact that it's against Alabama is the reason why they're going to care a little bit more.
Well, you think
you've already wrapped up the
night,
regular
Joe.
season. It is senior night. It is senior night. But normally what'll happen, you get your seniors that are playing, some of the guys that are bench warmers that don't get much playing time. You let all your seniors start because that's kind of what you do on senior night. You let them get just a little bit more time in the spotlight before they actually go off and they play their last basketball game unless they're going to the NBA or overseas. All of those things and scenarios is what you normally do on a senior night. You let them all play, and if you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. Fantastic. You're still the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament. You're still going to be the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. So none of this was affected by that loss. What you really need to focus on is the fact that you allowed Texas A&M to have 24 offensive rebounds and 29 second chance points from said rebounds. Not just they had 24 rebounds total, they gave up 24 offensive rebounds. Now, A&M's also the number 1 offensive rebounding team in the country, but still, you shouldn't be giving up 24 offensive rebounds.
Well, not just that, but 15 more rebounds than Auburn had on the entire night. I mean, that's something that you're not going to see typically from in this Auburn team. And moving forward, I don't think that's going to be the case. But again, I think there was a little bit of a lax moment in the middle of this game where you realize that, whoa, this Auburn team's not playing all out. You could still tell that they were playing very fast, very physical. But whenever this game was getting to the ending, I could tell that they're not going to try and risk anything.
It's like, all right, cool. Yes, we lost. All right, fantastic. Nobody cares. Like it's not going to hurt anything. Like nothing is going to be affected.
But I really want to know who's actually happy about this victory, because obviously, there are the Texas A&M fans. I want to know if there's any in this area that are going to be vocal about this victory, or if it's just going to be the Alabama fans that are happy that their in-state rival at that, lost this game.
Well, and Texas A&M winning this game got them and put them in front of Ole Miss when it comes to the seeding for the SEC tournament. Now they still have to play their games on Saturday.
Talk about Ole Miss, dude. Their season fell apart fast.
I mean, just wheels fell off. I mean, just like a New York Jets team in any year you want to pick.
Well, you're comparing them
this year.
You compare them to the New York Jets. Well, here's the thing. They're still going to have a longer postseason than the Jets did.
Well, yeah, because Jets didn't have one. And so you now have Texas A&M, which is close to passing Missouri for the seeding, which would put them very close at being like a 5 seed right now in the tournament. Like those are the important things for A&M. This was very similar to a bowl game. Which team was playing with more motivation? Because it wasn't Auburn. It was definitely A&M. And so that's the reason why A&M dominated Auburn from the tip.
Yeah.
I mean, the tip off, it was all A&M the entire time.
If anybody, said at the beginning of the season that this league would slowly but surely just start dissolving itself, they couldn't be more right, Joe. I see the other matchup that catches my eye, a Vanderbilt team that just won against the Mizzou, and then faces off against Arkansas, who, yes, has had some surprising stints the same way that Vanderbilt has, but then to lose to Arkansas, I just am shaking my head. But I'm also just super excited to see the SEC tournament because I think it's anybody's game. I truly do.
Yeah, and I think that motivation as well is going to come into that because, yes, if you're Auburn, you're Alabama, you're Tennessee, you'd love to win, but it's also still not the end goal. You're Auburn, you've already won the regular season championship. The end goal is the NCAA tournament. The end goal is the Final Four and the national championship. That's what you want to win.
Yeah.
You don't need to go out and win the SEC championship for it to mean anything as far as your season is concerned. Would it be nice? Yeah. Is that going to be something else that you're going to probably put on the side of your ring whenever you get it? Yeah, absolutely. But it's not going to be a deal breaker. Let's go to the phone lines. 256-576-4977. Wolverine Dan, how's it going, sir?
What's up, brother? Hey, listen, I love listening to you guys talk about your aches and pains at your age. At my age, the weather's like this, my Inagata DeVita really hurts.
I second that. I'm starting to feel the Anagata DeVita, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great song. Great song.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's talk, I think I'll stop the SEC stuff. Woo! Killing me. Throw a little Big Ten, okay? Come on, talk about my Michigan Wolverines. The other day, they got spanked by Illinois. Lord have mercy. So I think they're 22-7 or something, maybe.
Yeah.
So what is their prognosis? You see them in the big dance?
Oh, of course. I think they're going to be.
Oh yeah, right.
Definitely getting in there, but I don't know.
They're probably looking at like what a 4 seed, maybe a 5 seed right now. If I'm looking, I mean, I don't have bracketology in front of me, but I would assume that they're probably a 4 seed.
Yeah, if they're still sitting at 17th in the country, I would say 4 to a 6 seed maybe.
Well, they're playing tonight too. I know that.
Yeah, playing Maryland tonight. That's a top 15 team. They're 13 in the country. Wasn't it the last time Michigan played against Maryland, or was that a different? I think it was Michigan State. It was a last-second buzzer beater. So maybe Michigan can rebound and do that type of muju as well.
We'll see. I definitely agree with you guys. SEC is probably going to get more teams than us. SEC is a pretty darn good conference this year in basketball. I've got to give you that too. So
right now, by the way, Dan, Michigan is being projected as a 4 seed right now. That's at least the projections for this very second, I should say.
And switching gears real quickly, I'm sorry about your cancellation. But let's talk Little Havoc. I tell you, fella, this is good stuff. We got to pick up another goalie to help out Robinson and everything. And, I tell you what, he's playing hard and really done a good job, Keith has. I think we got a really good shot of winning another one. So that would make it, I think 2. No, we got 2 or 3, I think. Championship.
Yeah, no, you're right. But see, I think there's actually 3. This would be 4 if I remember correctly. Yeah. And I think that the one thing that I would love is the moment everything is kind of clinched, give Robo some time off, let him get his legs back from underneath him so that he's good. I would love for that Macon series that's going to happen at the very end of the season not mean a single thing. Like, I would love for everything to be wrapped up before then so that really you're just going there to work on things. Like, I want that to be the case. But I do also defensively, I know that obviously they've had, some injuries on the defensive side. I'd love for them to kind of secure up the defensive zone a little bit, make a little bit smarter passing. That was something that we were going to talk to, I believe it was going to be Coach P last night, was going to be about how you're securing up the turnovers that you're getting in the defensive zone. Like, that's something you cannot have. Outside of that, I mean, the offensive attack, you give them the opportunity, they're going to throw up 60 shots. They can do that. They almost did that the other night.
In my closing, I think my wife was telling me, I don't know if it's just season ticket holders or it applies to anybody that comes in the game. I'm not sure, but I think it's season ticket holders that I guess you can ride the Zamboni. Get on the Zamboni.
The Zamboni.
I saw
the
that.
Zamboni.
I was actually going to ask a question to some of the players yesterday about it because that thing is that's got to be a first, Joe. I've never seen that.
No,
thing
actually,
before.
Apparently there are a few different NHL teams as well as minor league teams that allow you to ride the Zamboni. It says so even on the website it says
the Zamboni website.
Hop aboard our brand new Zamboni for an unforgettable ride. Each rider will receive a special commemorative badge. Limited to 10 riders per game. Please check in at the information booth, all that sort of stuff. So I don't know exactly how you get in on the fan experience like that. But the Zamboni was a hit.
It was. There were a lot of people on it.
I felt like I was back in Nashville for a second. I thought that we had like a pedal tavern going.
We'd have to get a picture of Natty Dan on that thing.
Well, the only way I'd get on that Zamboni if they had like a quarter keg, and I'd hang head with Badger Larry and Bama Brad, our wives, maybe we could all go up there and pass the red Solo Cup around.
Oh no, that is something that you could possibly do, which by the way, I'm looking right now. You can actually just go to their website. If you type in Zamboni in Huntsville Havoc, it'll take you to where you can purchase tickets to get on the Zamboni.
Okay, well, I'm glad I brought it up. You guys wanted to talk about it. Anyway, listen, I enjoy the show as usual. You guys do a great job.
Hey, thanks for that, Dan. We appreciate it. And I'm kind of glad that Dan actually brought up the Havoc as well, because coming up on the 13th, which is next Thursday, coming up on the 13th, the Huntsville Havoc are going to be hosting a watch party at Mars Music Hall. And that is going to be one where you can buy tickets for that simply by going to the Huntsville Havoc webpage. And Steve Bolton and myself are going to be heading down to Birmingham to be on the call for Flow Sports with that as well. So you're going to be watching at Mars Music Hall with a ton of other Havoc fans. They're going to be doing all this awesome stuff in between periods and things like that as the game goes along. And Steve and myself are going to be on the call for that. So you'll be watching our call. And I will say that I do need to reach back out to him, but the Birmingham Bulls play-by-play guy actually reached out to us yesterday.
He did. He gave me a little call, and he was asking for you. So we'll definitely have to get the rest of that story.
The team, the Birmingham Bulls, actually posted the segment that John and I did a couple of days ago about the rivalry between Huntsville and Birmingham.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I had no idea.
They actually posted that yesterday afternoon, as a matter of fact. And they even say, if you wonder, and it wasn't anything bad. It was if you wonder about the Birmingham Huntsville rivalry and how deep it is, go to the 1 hour and 7 minute mark, is what they said. And then that was when we started talking about their guy versus Steve, and Pelham versus West Huntsville, and, you know, Trash Pandas versus Bulls, and all of the stuff that kind of came along with the rivalry.
I love it. They're playing into it. And honestly, that's what I mean. I know that the SPHL has a few of these types of rivalries between them, but like, why not make this one the biggest?
I don't know if
none of them. I don't think any of them compared to this one.
Yeah, I don't think that any of the rivalries have kind of went to this. I even feel bad now because during one of the games a few weeks ago, I said, what is the Havoc's biggest rival, because of the Knoxville, the Peoria. I think the Peoria is kind of like a Duke, Kentucky thing, where it's more about the success between the two, and they meet up sometimes in a championship. And that's the reason why they like dislike each other, is because it's more about the winning. It's not about anything else. And then obviously with the fighting between Knoxville and Huntsville, okay, that's happening. But the moment I asked Steve that question, all he said was Pelham. And I said, oh, you think? He goes, you heard me say Pelham, right? Like we don't refer to them as Birmingham.
He's the king of petty.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know.
He absolutely is.
By the way, CBS Sports is actually projecting Michigan as a 3 seed.
Well, and that depends on what they do over the course.
So
like
there's a little bounce back forth. I would say 3 or 4, and I would say at the lowest, if everything turned out the way it didn't need to, I would say they could find themselves at a 5th seed, but I don't know if that's exactly going to happen.
A lot of times what you want to do is it's simple math on this. A lot of times outside of 1 or 2 moving teams, your number 1 through 4 teams are going to be your top, is going to be your 1 line. Your 5s through your 8s are going to be your 2 seeds, and you just keep going down. And right now Michigan is looking at like their number like 17 or 15th in the country, which would put them around the 4 line at this point in time. So it's, again, the line itself it's more about the matchups that you see in this.
Well, it's a crazy thing because Texas A&M also a 3 seed according to CBS Sports. I'm just going to go off of that just because it's in front of me right now. Missouri is a 4th seed, so that's something to look at, something to keep up with. And we will continue to keep up with all of the things basketball as we get closer and closer to the postseason, all of the conference tournaments, as well as, of course, March Madness that you will be able to hear on our network, 97.7 ESPN The Zone, all the way through. I'm very excited for it. You're very excited for it. And if you guys want to get involved and you have a company or a business, well, just hit us up at 256-576-97.7. Joe,
sup?
There's some moves that are happening in the NFL. I know not a lot of people are focusing on this right now.
Gardner Minshew just got released from the Raiders.
No.
Minshew Mania is gone from Vegas. It just happened when you were bringing that up.
No.
Yeah.
He was the future.
I think there's a lot of teams that have probably said that exact line about Gardner Minshew.
That is true. Jacksonville did it whenever he came
How
into the
he is
league.
not a part of that commercial about the backup quarterbacks, I have no idea, because he is like, when I think of backup quarterbacks, Gardner Minshew is the guy.
No, I think Case Keenum. Let's be honest.
And Case Keenum also, and Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I would say that as well. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, if this was 4 years ago.
Yes,
but not if this was 10.
Who's the Daniel, the quarterback from Missouri that was Drew Brees' backup quarterback for like a decade, never even stepped on the field?
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah. So
throw that guy
all
in
right,
there as well.
256-576-4977.
We want to know
continue.
your favorite backup quarterbacks of
no,
all
we don't.
time.
No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. No.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor. We'll continue when we come back on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN 110 from WZZN TV.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Number 7, Alabama hosting number 5, Florida today at the Coleman Coliseum. The Crimson Tide, the 3.5-point favorite, 177.5 the total. 4th-ranked Tennessee visits Ole Miss as a 3.5-point road favorite, 138.5 the total. Last side of the Southeastern Conference, 22nd-ranked Texas A&M as a 3.5-point home dog topples number 1 Auburn, 83-72. Aggies for the 3.5-point underdog. College baseball coming up today. Alabama, $2.30 in favorite over Troy. The Trojans plus 175 in that midweek college baseball matchup in Tuscaloosa. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. Join the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beams likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-50s. Still going to be breezy across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Sustained winds 20 to 30 miles per hour. Wind gusts 35 to 40 miles per hour. Now the wind finally going to begin to die down as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Going to be a cold night across the Tennessee Valley. We're starting the day in the lower 30s. Under a mostly to partly sunny sky, temperatures only climb into the lower 50s. Dropping into the mid-30s through the overnight. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky for your Friday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
Dangerous. Ain't too many can bang with us. Straight up, no.
Welcome back in to the Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk here with you guys, wrapping up the first hour. Always presented by the wonderful people at Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Joe, I want you to give me a little bit of time, just a little bit more time in the NASCAR world right now.
Okay, first off, before this happens, let me just say this.
Fine. I'll let you do it.
It's not gonna take long. Major League Baseball, every single team just dropped their top 30 prospects. For every team, and the top 3 prospects for the Anaheim Angels were on last year's 2024 Trash Pandas team.
Of course they were.
And yes, the number 1 prospect in the Angels organization is VFL Christian Moore.
There you go.
So he is number 1. Trash Pandas just sent that out a little while ago with the top 30, and the Atlanta Braves number 1 overall prospect most likely will be starting opening day at catcher. So
I was hoping we'd actually see him at the Trash Pandas for a little bit.
No, he was no, you were not going to. No, I'm talking about
he's too good, dang it.
No, I'm talking about with the Braves. See that with Christian Moore, I still doubt that he is going to start in AA. If anything, he would start in AAA. But the Braves' number 1 prospect is their catcher, and with Sean Murphy's injury, he's probably going to be the one that's getting the start on opening day.
Yeah, I didn't remember Christian Moore as a catcher. I'm going to be honest.
No,
with you
Christian Moore can probably play catcher because he can play any position. Like even with the Vols, he played almost every position on the field when asked to. Like he wasn't even a second baseman, but they said, "Hey, Christian, we don't have a second baseman." He's, all right, cool, I'll learn.
Yeah, I mean, he could play. He's got the abilities to play every position. He's fast. He's also very mobile. I mean, you could put him at outfield, any position. You wouldn't want to put him at right field, though. And then you definitely could put him at any infielder position. I would say except for first baseman, just because you want a little bit more of a stocky player right there. But I would say shortstop, second base, third base probably be perfect for him. But regardless of that, Joe, Did you see the news? Have you
Dude,
seen
you said
the
this to
biggest
me when
story?
you called me last night, and I was like, what? Who died?
Not that news, not those news.
Like,
all right?
you do this, and this is how you start 90% of your big conversations. Did you see the news?
Have you seen the big story, Joe?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll
What
let you
news?
know. Catherine Legg is going to be the 17th female driver to race NASCAR Cup Series.
This is the reason why I don't let you do break. Like, you sold this.
Breaking
You
news!
sold this as a really big story.
I think it is actually a big
You
story.
sold this as a massive story that I should just be like drooling at the thought of talking about.
She's going to be driving for Live Fast Motorsports in the 78 car, which we've seen a lot of people drive throughout the years. It's like it's a company. It's not a chartered company, a well-known one like you'd see with Stuart Haas. Oh wait, they're out of commission. Joe Gibbs, I'll say them instead. But I always think this is interesting, Joe, not because it's going to break any barriers, but because it is a female driver. It is a female going and playing a sport, if you want to call it a sport, that is predominantly dominated by males. Just because, well, those are the guys that are racing these cars. But it's not like the same thing that you're going to hear on the Tom Abraham show whenever he's talking about, okay, fine, I won't get into it. All right,
doing this here.
Regardless,
I'm shocked I'm letting you continue on this whole thing. I think it's because I'm waiting for the music.
I think
to
you
hit.
are as well. She's 44 years old. She's raced in IndyCar for quite some time now, and she's got, I think, the fastest lap time at the Indy 500 for a female. So there's that as well. But I think it's interesting. She's not trying to break any barriers. That's for dang sure, because the last time we had somebody say that, it was Danica Patrick, and look what she did. She broke all of the barriers on the tracks and a lot of other cars as well. But I'm excited to see Legg race, and honestly, it's going to make this Phoenix race this weekend a little bit more interesting. I'm going to have my eyes on the 78 car, and hopefully she finishes below 30th. I'm going to say that. I think she's going to do fine. I'm looking forward to it, Joe. Why do you hate me?
If you keep talking about this, every time you talk NASCAR, I'm going to bring up Japanese baseball.
That's fine.
If I
have to meet in the middle, Joe, I am the most meet in the middle type of person you'll ever meet. We got to hit a break. We got to get into the second hour. But we got the covered 5 as well as a lot more fun stories to get into, including an NFL movement. And, of course, your phone calls, 256-576-9777. The NASCAR talk is out of the way unless you guys bring it back. We'll see you on the other side. Yes.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports, and it's brought to you by Conecuh Sausage, a true Southern flavor since 1947, and Conecuh is the official smoked sausage of the Crimson Tide. Order online at ConecuhSausage.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Here are thoughts from Kalen DeBoer following Alabama football's first spring practice of the year on Monday.
Before we get into questions and so forth, just want to, because I know you guys are all wanting on the updates with some guys injury-wise. So I'll just read off the ones that will be out for the spring. A couple guys that are limited to and a couple that are full go. Alex Asparuhoff, he'll be out. David Bird will be out. Long snapper. Bubba Hampton will be out. Devontae Henry, Damani Jackson, Deontay Lawson, Danny Lewis, Keon Sabb. And then we have some guys that are limited really just to Indy only and non-contact. And Justin Jefferson, Caden Proctor, James Smith. So I'll just from last season still.
I'll have more in a moment.
Favorite jeans, favorite shirt. Got Conecuh sausage and I'm firing it up. Yeah, everybody knows. Now I get my grill on. You can smell that flavor up and down the road. It's a little taste of heaven. Everybody knows. Now I get my grill on. Conecuh sausage. It's just a little taste of heaven.
Join us this afternoon first for Alabama baseball as the Crimson Tide welcomes in Troy starting at 4 o'clock with our coverage on the network starting at 3:45. And then, of course, men's basketball and the home finale for the Crimson Tide against the Florida Gators. Tip off at 6 and our coverage on the network begins at 5 p.m. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Conecuh Sausage. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Are you trying to find a new house? Are you trying to find the right loan? The right people to do your loan? Look no further than the Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green. John Kendall, the Vice President of Mortgage with me. John, when they need a loan, and I say they, when people need a loan, it's about them.
That's right, Scott. Our whole motto is it's all about you. We're going to be okay. You're the one making the investment. We want to make sure that you're taken care of.
How do they find you?
Give us a call at 256-507-9180, or they can catch us online at bankoffrankewing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green, where they take the home loan to you and they make it all about you. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDI insured bank as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
Hello, listeners. My name is Jonathan Dunwoody, and I own Minuteman Press. We are a full-service print shop that is locally owned and operated. I have personally been handling direct mail for over 17 years and have a great relationship with the USPS. We are the only print shop in the area that is listed as a print provider on their website and the only printing franchise that can use their logo as our partner on marketing materials. We can help from conception to design, print, and delivery to the post office. And with our easy, secure online payment option, you don't even need to leave your office. Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
This is Brent Musburger's VSIN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Number 7, Alabama hosting number 5, Florida today in the Coleman Coliseum. The Crimson Tide, the 3.5-point favorite, 177.5 the total. 4th-ranked Tennessee visits Ole Miss as a 3.5-point road favorite, 138.5 the total. Last side of the Southeastern Conference, 22nd-ranked Texas A&M as a 3.5-point home dog topples number 1 Auburn, 83-72. Aggies for the 3.5-point underdog. College baseball coming up today. Alabama, $2.30 in favorite over Troy. The Trojans plus 175 in that midweek college baseball matchup in Tuscaloosa. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-50s. Still going to be breezy across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Sustained winds 20 to 30 miles per hour. Wind gusts 35 to 40 miles per hour. Now the wind finally going to begin to die down as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Going to be a cold night across the Tennessee Valley. We're starting the day in the lower 30s. Under a mostly to partly sunny sky, temperatures only climb into the lower 50s. Dropping into the mid-30s through the overnight. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky for your Friday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Final hour, best hour on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham here as we broadcast live on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and ZZN You can always give us a call at 256-576-4977. And of course, get those comments in as we continue throughout the show. For us coming up here in just a little bit, we have the cover 5, where I am going to ask 5 extremely interesting questions, one of which that I know that John Abraham, the big, massive New York Yankee fan that he is.
Oh, yeah. Home runs, baby. Oh, yeah. It's all about the Yankees.
Does not know what happened on this day almost 50 years ago.
Oh, geez. 50 years ago, I was not alive, Joe, but
Doesn't
you know what?
matter. When I tell you this story, I guarantee you are going to say to yourself, how has there not been a movie made about this?
Okay. I'm looking forward to that one.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that is going to happen. Also, don't forget Tom Abraham show coming up at noon. You've got Paul, then you've got The Drive with Steve Moulton and Wes Neighbors. And of course, here in just a few minutes, I'm going to be heading over to John Hunt Park because UAH lacrosse is going to get going over there. This is like my second or third. Look, it's my third lacrosse game.
Gotcha. Okay.
Third lacrosse game that I've ever done. And
you're gonna have fun with that one. Wait,
yes, and apparently this is men's lacrosse, which is different than women's
totally
lacrosse.
different. Yeah, completely.
And I don't understand why that is a thing.
Okay.
Like at least baseball and softball, they are so close apart. They still have 3 strikes.
Joe, in
You can
NASCAR,
fully-
it's the same thing, bro.
No.
There's no women's NASCAR and men's NASCAR. It's just
No.
they combine them.
Well, yes.
And I think it's very courageous of the women to do in the first place to be surrounded by a bunch of men inside of these 1,000-pound vehicles. There you go. I've had enough about that.
Men and women's hockey are the same. Men and women's basketball are the same. Why does lacrosse have to have basically so many different rules than what men's lacrosse has?
Well, the LFL is a little bit different from the NFL. So, I mean, you could throw that one in there. It's
The
a lot
what?
different. The LFL?
No, we're not doing LFL. No, we're not talking LFL.
Why not?
256-576-977.
Four, there's a huge fan base.
Yeah, I bet you they are.
They love Nashville. What was their team called, Joe?
I don't know. Didn't even know Nashville had a team like that.
The Lingerie Football League? Was that what it's called? No, the Ladies Football League?
Mm.
Well, they're the Knights, dude. They're the Knights.
So they're the Nashville Knights?
They disbanded in 2019. RIP. It was the 22nd and final expansion team in the history of the LFL's U.S. League. You're saying there was other countries with the LFL?
No, not doing
Let's
this.
see their Instagram.
Not doing this. John, do you think that the Giants are going to trade up in the draft? I'm totally getting out of the subject that you're trying to get into.
Sorry, I'm a little distracted.
I know you are, and that's exactly why I'm trying to make sure that you stay.
All right, the Giants draft. They're trading in the draft. Where are they sitting right now? Probably like 6, 8, maybe.
I mean, guys, even that far? I don't even think it's that far. I mean, I want to say they're like 4th.
Oh yeah, I think they're sitting at 4th.
They're 3rd.
3rd.
Yeah, they're 3rd. It's New England that's 4th.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I've been focused on those first 2 picks because Titans and the Cleveland Browns, and obviously I love the Browns, and our first hour loves the Titans. Do I think they'll trade up? I think that the Titans could probably be fine if they traded with the Giants, and then we see Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, because I've seen a lot of things about Shedeur, meaning, he might not be the first pick talent that everybody thought. Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's not the first time people were wrong about the Sanders. But on top of that, do I think that they need to for this draft class, or should they just sit where they're at right now and build on the pieces they need? Because they could possibly get an Abdul Carter. Okay. He could fall to that 3rd spot. They could get somebody who you wouldn't even think of, a Travis Hunter even. And that would be perfectly fine for the future of this franchise. First off, Travis Hunter would give them a boost, okay, in the momentum on the social media side of things, and then in the locker room. Because that's an interesting player that is a generational talent that you don't get to see a lot of. And, hey, at the same time, he's a pretty fun dude, and he's got a humongous Twitch following. Whereas with a guy like Abdul Carter, you're stacking that defense, getting a little bit more stout, and then that'll make up for the shortcomings on the offense going into 2025. So that's the way that I look at it. Do they need to? No. Should they? Probably not. But could they get a quarterback at that first pick if they really wanted to go that route? Yes. But there's still some options in the free agency.
Well, and if you haven't heard, there's been multiple outlets that have said that the Giants and the Titans have talked about the Giants trading up to the first pick. And in the trade, it would, at the moment, at least the one that got leaked, was that the Giants would pick up the first round draft pick, first overall draft pick. The Titans would then trade back and get their third. The Titans would then also get, I want to say it is a late or, it's an early third round pick, a 2026 second round pick, and then Kayvon Thibodeau would be in the deal as well. And that would be the Titans getting Thibodeau, which Titans need help at defensive end / outside linebacker, young rookie deal. And the Giants would get Harold Landry, who the Titans have talked about potentially getting. Now, if you get Kayvon Thibodeau, which is he classified as an outside linebacker right now? No, he's classified as a defensive end, but he can drop back and take his hands out of the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
It would be, I think the biggest upside there is solidifying the defensive line for the Titans. And if you were to get him, that to me would signal that you would be going for Travis Hunter at 3. Yeah. Because Giants would be trading up to pick a quarterback.
Cam Ward
or Shedeur Sanders.
I see him going with Cam Ward, if anything.
Right. Again, it makes the most sense.
But Shedeur would be the second quarterback off the block.
And then you would then turn around and you would see that the Browns would go with most likely whichever quarterback doesn't go first overall.
Yeah, or defensive lineman, which would probably be Abdul Carter.
Yeah. So then that would mean that Travis Hunter would be available at 3.
Exactly. And that would fit in perfectly with the Titans scheme regardless, because they could still build on Will Levis. Then they also have this talent, similar to what I said about him before with the Giants, helps build the locker room chemistry, and also helps build the team up a little bit because he is still, at the end of the day, a good cornerback. And Joe, let me know, who's the last, who do you think, top-tier cornerback that the Titans had? And it doesn't have to go back too far because it doesn't go back too far. I would probably
say Cortland Finnegan? Well, he was more safety, wasn't he?
You could go with him. I mean, Ryan Griffin or Michael Griffin.
Michael Griffin was safety.
I
love Michael Griffin.
The McCourty brothers maybe having, which one did they have?
No, it was Jason McCourty.
Jason, yes.
Yeah, Jason McCourty, they had him. But that was right after Cortland Finnegan.
Mm-hmm.
Blaine was a safety. So you're not talking cornerback with him.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You take it back a while, and a lot of the times you still think of some of those top tier talents in the backfield for the Titans defense, and it turns out they're safeties. So you don't get a lot of those cornerbacks that had that real wow name. You don't get the Darnell Reeves and all that stuff for the Titans.
Yeah, so if you look at what we're talking about with cornerbacks, I even just found a random list of the top cornerbacks in Titans history. Samari Rolle goes all the way back to that season with Blaine and the 99 Titans teams. Mm-hmm. Jason McCourty was a part of the 09 to 2016. Cortland Finnegan was 06 to 2011. One that I absolutely love, and I think that he never gets enough credit, is Alteron Werner, who was with the team for only about 4 years. If I remember correctly, because I researched him a few years ago, I want to say he is a school teacher in California now.
Good for him.
I want to say that he's a school teacher.
Teaching the future generations.
So, like those guys, okay, those would be the ones that you would probably say. But yeah, your Cortland Finnegan, your Jason McCourty, those would be your cornerbacks. The thing about Travis Hunter is and I'm still curious as if he would return, because he didn't return at Colorado. But would he return? Is that a part of his game that he would be open to trying? Because again, with his speed and with his 10-yard speed, which that's what I look at. Like obviously you pay attention to the 40,
mm-hmm.
but the 10-yard speed, that's your breakaway speed. That's your get off the line, create separation between the wide receiver and the cornerback speed.
But would the Titans even want to risk that? I mean, with your first round pick, especially the first 3 pick in the draft, would you want to risk that just to put on the special teams?
Look, if you get a guy that can play multiple positions, very similar to JC Latham. Look, I think even the Titans have said, look, we played him at left tackle this year. He did great at left tackle, but if we fell in love with another left tackle, we would be open to moving him back to right tackle, which is what he played at Alabama.
That's still not the same as special teams.
But what I'm saying is if you have a guy that can fill a bunch of different needs, like what we were talking about with Christian Moore, Christian Moore was not a second baseman by trade for that Vols team last year. He was just the guy that Vitello went over and said, hey, we really don't have anybody that can play second base. And the way that our lineup is set right now, it would help us out if you took over that position. So, all right, cool. I'll learn how to play it. With Travis Hunter, I definitely believe day one, NFL, week one, he is starting at cornerback. I do think that he's going to play in some offensive packages. But if you have a return man in this NFL with this kickoff return and punt returns, if you can have that guy, and I don't know if he would be that guy, but if he can do that, that is a whole different level of the way that you can flip a game if you have a great kickoff and or punt return man.
Yeah, we're talking about a game changer here, like a Percy Harvin back in the day. This is that type of dude that could possibly do it. Okay, I've been able to play with Travis Hunter a bunch of times within the college football game, and on my ultimate team, he turns out to be my kick returner as well. And it's just because, this is what he's good at. He can do these positions. It's just up to the team managing this player if they want to see him play in this position, because regardless of what the NFL says that it is a safer kickoff, it is, but there's still guys just running headfirst at each other.
Well, and I think that the other part that plays into this is, do you want to waste a first round pick on a quarterback that you don't know if he is going to be the answer, or you do use it on a pick that will be the answer somewhere? Yeah. Because it's not like Shedeur Sanders can swap over and play the defensive line. It's not like he could swap over and be your cornerback or your safety or something like that, the way that a Travis Hunter could. Travis Hunter could potentially fill a void in various spots. And even if it's only one spot, that you have the option. Then you start to also look at next year's quarterback class. Now, we're looking at this with 365 days ahead of us that a lot of opinions can change simply on 60 minutes of football.
Now, we like talking about football, though, so, it's totally worth it.
But when you start to hear about the fact that Arch Manning is going to be a part of this class if he wants to come out, Nico is going to be a part of this class if he wants to come out, Drew Aller is going to be a part of this class, depending on how Lenore Sellers grows, he could also be that Jackson Dart type player this year as well. Carson Beck is going to be a part of this class that he's going to be transferring in. You could also even be looking at, was it Sam Levitt or whatever from Arizona State? He's going to be a part of it. Those are the type of Grayson Loftus, who just transferred to Duke. Those quarterbacks, I guess you could possibly even say like an Austin Mack, depending on what happens with him. But those are the quarterbacks that are there that you could say, hey, if we're a mediocre team and our deal with Will Levis is coming up, there's a potential that we could go ahead and grab a quarterback in next year's draft if we don't have the pieces. I still believe that Will Levis can be a good quarterback in the NFL.
Well, this is his year to prove it.
Well, he has to, because if not, then they're not going to do any sort of extension with him whatsoever. Like, this is your make or break it year. And a lot of times, again, it is so easy, or so much easier, to pull the reins back on a quarterback to get him to do less than to push him ahead and make him do more. And I think that is where, with Levis, I would much rather try to get it where where you're going to be trying to pull him back so that he can do less. He's got this year left, and he's also got next year left in his deal. He's got 2 seasons to the Titans to have him under a rookie contract before they have to make a decision on what they want with him. Now, unless another team comes to them with an amazing offer, like, oh, we trade with the Giants, and then the Jets want to trade with us as well, and they're willing to give us Lizard or Lazard or whatever it is. I call him Lizard. I called him Lizard. Lazard or whatever, because they've given him the okay to start looking for trade offers, or whatever the case may be with him. Then you also get another pick. Okay, then you're starting to add to these draft picks that is going to be the reason you win. Teams win the Super Bowl not because of free agent hirings. They win it because of the way that they draft. Free agent hirings and the free agent signings are just the very top of that. That is like putting you over the hump.
No doubt about that. Joe, I think we're also forgetting a few players that could be in the NFL draft in 2026. KJ Jefferson is also a possible idea for that. Remember Arkansas's quarterback, big, stout quarterback? He played at UCF this past year. I don't love him as much as I love Talon Green, who is the current quarterback for Arkansas that I think will actually be some sort of Jaden Daniels type of star. But KJ Jefferson's another guy I feel like you cannot leave out if you're talking about a future NFL draft class. But we do need to hop into a break. Before I do that, you talked about Gardner Minshew, of course, him getting released. This might open the door for that fourth pick to be said Shedeur Sanders. Just something to keep in mind. 256-576-97.7 is the number to get in. When we get back, we're going to quickly talk about some of the movements that you probably missed within the NFL and then get into the Cover 5 here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
Auburn basketball coach Bruce Pearl has a challenge for you.
Be an MVP to a child in need by opening your heart, opening your home, and becoming a foster or adoptive parent in Alabama. I know so many folks that are. They tell me it's one of the greatest things they've ever done.
To learn more about becoming a foster or adoptive parent, visit dhr.alabama.gov. That's dhr.alabama.gov. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
There are many adults in Alabama who cannot take care of themselves. Some of them need foster homes. The Alabama Department of Human Resources has a critical need for caring men and women to provide safe and supportive homes for vulnerable adults. Make a difference in someone's life. Be an adult foster care provider because love never ages. For more information, visit dhr.alabama.gov/AFC. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Hey, do you have heating and air issues as the springtime starts to roll around? Hey, there's just one name you need to know. Talent Heating and Air. #1 heating and air business right here in the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, we're locally based. If you call, you're going to get somebody based in Huntsville. Mentioned in spring earlier, we can actually do indoor air quality products, so we can help alleviate those allergy problems you're having in your house.
All right, Thomas from Talent Heating and Air, give them the number that when they call, somebody live and local will pick up.
That's 256-503-4490.
And you can always head to the World Wide Web and find Talent Heating and Air, and you guys will still respond.
That's talenthvac.com. If you don't want to talk to a person right away, you can fill out a form on there and get scheduled for a visit.
That's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. It's Talent Heating and Air.
AL certain number 21014.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well, try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
Howdy, folks. Bob Baumhauer here. Whether you're planning a tailgate party at the game, cheering for your favorite teams at home, or at your local Baumhauers with your family and friends, we're here to make your football party legendary with our party-ready tray selections. From our always fresh buttermilk fried chicken tenders to the homemade Nana's chicken salad, and of course, our fresh, never frozen, award-winning buffalo-style chicken wings. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's Club Repair Shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslandings.com. That's gunnerslandings.com.
Rocket City? For air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at SensaGreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6, like a G6, like a G6. Now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6, like a G6, like a G6.
Congratulations to a few UAH Chargers as they were announced yesterday as some of the winners of some massive awards inside the GSC. Coach Hedgepeth was named the GSC Coach of the Year. Tommy Murr was named the Male Player of the Year, and Lily Wilkin was named the Female Player of the Year for basketball.
As they should be.
Again, there was nobody better this season than what Tommy Murr was, and Lily Wilkin, as it's so crazy to watch her play because like we were talking about, like Haley and Lexi, down low presence, offensive, defensive rebounds. You have between all the girls on the outside that can shoot threes, and then you've got Lily that can do every bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
And when she's healthy, she's literally all over the place. It is crazy to see. So congratulations to them for picking up these Player and Coaches of the Year awards. As they're going to continue going on, you'll be able to hear it on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Yeah, and the more games, the merrier, and that's what I'm very much looking forward to. But, Joe, we do have some news to hop into real quick to get you guys up to date on all of the moves that are happening in the NFL, because that's kind of been a second to third priority behind the college basketball and, of course, the local sports that is going on, because we very much are interested in all the things Huntsville athletics, because UAH, what they're doing, of course, baseball season getting started, and on top of that, of course, this run that this team is going to be making in the basketball, whether it's the women's or the men's side of things. But I do want to throw this out there. The NFL just announced that the Bengals defensive end, the one that's been causing havoc, the one that I feel like has been underrated for the last 7 years, somebody that you see in a game if they're playing the Bengals and you're going to hear his name. But outside of that, there's only a few defensive ends that you're going to hear almost every single day, and that consists of Myles Garrett, TJ Watt. You go down the list and you got a few more guys. Micah Parsons is thrown in there. But Sam Hubbard is actually calling it a career after 7 years. And I got to admit, this one shocked me. Another defensive man that calls it quits after a short time, a short stint in the NFL, which say what you will, these guys take a beating almost every single year.
Well, and it makes me wonder about if it's one of those where he got into the NFL in 2018. He has missed a couple of games here and there every single season outside of maybe 2021.
Yeah.
He played in every game in 2018, but he was never a starter in 2018. And I don't know what his injury history is. When you're only missing 1 or 2 games, you're obviously not having any season-ending injuries, but it makes me wonder about possibly like concussion issues or something along those lines, where he just said, you know what? It just isn't worth it.
He's made his money.
Yeah, it is not worth it with that. Now, again, that is just a guess, just because you don't make this type of declaration in this part of your career when you're still a dominant player at the defensive line or at any position in the NFL, and you call it quits. So that's where I'm like, okay, there has to be more to this than just he woke up today and said, you know what? I don't feel like getting ready for OTAs in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I just don't.
There's probably a little bit of both sides. He did have a grade 3 torn, I believe it was a meniscus, a few years back. And he, of course, hamstring tear, which is on top of course, the arm injury that he had a few years ago as well. That's why he wears that huge club and all that. So there's a lot of injuries for these types of players, defensive ends specifically. You see the arm brace on Parsons. You see the arm brace on Myles Garrett. And, of course, these guys are huge. They're some of the biggest in the NFL.
He's never had a concussion.
Well, that's impressive. Probably because he has that form tackling, you know?
No, he's had elbow injuries, ankle injuries, and he actually, I think it was a strained PCL that he actually got now that I remember it, that was in front of me during the Titans game.
Well, there you go.
It was because I was on the Bengals sidelines when that happened.
I could only imagine.
So now I remember that. Yeah.
On top of that, we do have some players that are going to be moving on that you might need to keep an eye on. Deebo Samuel, of course, the star wide receiver for the 49ers. He changed his number this past year, so you might have forgotten about him whenever
Like
you're
his
watching
phone
the
number
games.
or his number?
No,
number?
his number. It used to be like 19, which I always look at Deebo Samuel. That's what I think, but he changed it to 1. And he's not the only guy that's changed his number to 1, and it just kind of – it's like Stephon Diggs going to number, what was he, 0 this past year for the Texans?
when they allowed players to start wearing the number 0. Yeah,
I don't want to see that. Deebo Samuel with the 1, it looked weird. But regardless, he's done with the 49ers. He's going to be leaving Brock Purdy and that once Super Bowl caliber team to go to a brand new Super Bowl caliber team in the form of the Washington Commanders, joining Terry McLaurin and possibly Damani Brown and the rest of that crew over there. It depends on if they want to sign a long-term contract with this team. But Jaden Daniels is going to be his quarterback. Joe, this is a team that is starting to look a lot better in little to no time.
They are getting weapons. The part with Deebo is I want to see how healthy he's going to get in the offseason because he did struggle this year with his health. He was not as fast. He didn't have that first step, kind of like, again, the first 10 yards whenever we're talking about that. When you look at that, he didn't have that like the way that he did. There are more and more teams that are scheming against his style of play. It used to be almost the Wildcat whenever you would see Deebo go in the backfield and then we go over here. Now you've got numerous teams that are doing this, so teams are able to kind of prepare for it a little bit more. It's not a niche thing the way that it was when he first started playing it. So I want to see how his health is going to be because he can be a really, really good receiver, especially with this Commanders team. But I want to see how he looks when he gets into training camp.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I believe he's like 29 years old at this point in his career. So he's not reached that hump yet. Wide receivers could sometimes go a little bit longer, but if you see them just dragging on like a Randy Moss, that's whenever it gets to the point where it's just like you got to call it quits, bro. Yeah. We don't want to see Deebo Samuel on the Titans in 7 years. You know,
well, he doesn't look. The reason why he looked slow is because he did get injured a few times last season and he had to take a lot of time off. You saw him get injured even the previous year. So in fact, go back and watch the show Wide Receiver on Netflix. Like he gets injured during that and you kind of see the rehab that he has to go through just to get to the Super Bowl. And that is where for me, it is if his speed is gone, then one thing that he was really good at is making the turn around the edge and cutting upfield. If he can't do that as well in now because of the injuries, then yes, his stock goes down dramatically.
No doubt about that. Mississippi State Darius Slay Jr. I know it's crazy to go by his college, even though he's like 34 years old now. He's actually on the move. He was playing with the Eagles as they, of course, won their Super Bowl this past season. 6-time Pro Bowler on the move. He was with the Eagles for 5 seasons. He got to see the 2 Super Bowls that they went in. Before that, who was he with before he was with the Eagles?
He was actually a Lion.
There you go.
He was arguably the best cornerback in the NFL when he was a Lion.
So there's possibility that he might go back to the Lions because he said that he probably play one more season and then call it quits. I'm wondering if that will be the case or if we might see him have a resurgence for one team, 1-year contract, and then get out of the league, Joe. I just wanted your opinions on that because Slay he's been a factor almost every single year, and he's been at the top of the list for, I would say, all cornerbacks, and he's kind of that new standard that you want to kind of get to.
Well, and this goes, I think about his history and what he could be, but I also think about now is where he may be, where he could be a third down specialist. He may have something along those lines, and I look at like a Quandre Diggs. Like that, whenever he went and signed with the Titans, we were going, like when this man's healthy, he is good.
But it was
yes, but it was also earlier in his career. L'Jarius Sneed, same type of thing. Are these more of a package guys? Was it Devontae? It wasn't Devontae Adams. It was, I forget who the Adams was that the Titans signed at the beginning of the year. But those players, you're going, all right, if they can stay healthy for 17, we got ourselves enough players that we can put players in different packages. They stay healthy. They've been able to, keep their feet underneath them. But it's getting to that point where you're not a 3-down back anymore. You're going to be one of your 1 or 2, 3rd down and 8+ packages, that sort of thing.
Yeah, no doubt. I honestly, it's weird though, because you see players like Snead. We talked about him so much whenever he was on the Chiefs, and then he gets traded. The Titans grab him. It's big news. And then you don't really hear about him again. Was it one of those things where it's just like he kind of didn't fit with the team, or is he just still trying to find his place with the team?
Sometimes it's defensive scheme.
Gotcha.
I mean, sometimes it is, not terminology that you're not getting, but a lot of times it is the belief of a player. Again, I'll never forget talking with Blaine about his time when he went to Philadelphia, and they were asking him to do things differently than what he had always done as a Titan, what he was signed to be.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's what they wanted of me, and that's what I did. Kind of like the Christian Moore. I'm not a second baseman. Okay, cool. Well, we still need you to be one. All right, fine. Keeps my bat in the lineup, so be it. And so those were the things that they may have been asking him to do, things that he was not good at doing, or he was still trying to learn to do that wasn't his skill set and what he's very good at. You're not going to ask Xavier Worthy to be sitting back there and do pass blocking in the running back position. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to be asking him to do that. Now, you want him to know how to pass block, but you want him to know how to pass block outside the numbers, not trying to protect the next coming of Jesus Christ back there. Like, you want to make sure that he can go. Okay. Trust me, Mahomes would rather have a lot of other wise men around him than a 130-pound wide receiver.
Yeah, no doubt. And then the big news comes out of the free agency. Biggest name in the free agency, honestly, biggest talent, T. Higgins. Yeah. He re-signs, at least he gets the franchise tag for the 2nd year in a row with the Bengals. Joe, this guy he was really good last year, and we got to see a lot more of him thanks to, of course, the Titans getting Boyd and it opening up a little bit more room for him to produce. But he had 911 yards. Wasn't the most that he's ever had in his career, because he had 2 1,000-year seasons early on in his career. But he's heading into his, I believe it's 6th season.
Yep.
2nd time on the franchise tag. If the Bengals don't decide to extend his contract, he'll be making $25 million.
Well, and this one sucks because he's from outside of Knoxville. I know a ton of Titans fans would have loved to added him to this team, especially with Brian Callahan being your head coach.
Yeah, Oak Ridge High School.
Oak Ridge High School is where he's from, and I think that the part is he's had a few seasons where he's gotten over 100 targets. He's kind of been that complimentary wide receiver to Jamar Chase, and he's becoming a solid number 2. And I think that you can see by the amount of money that the Bengals are about to pay him that they see him as kind of a 1A, 1B type of guy, and they want to be able to keep those 2 outside weapons together. Now, the subtraction of Hubbard, and I don't know what his deal was, but again, obviously I would assume within a retirement that comes off of your books, that now you're looking at a little bit more money to try to add some more pieces that could help you outside with the wide receiver. But when you have Higgins and you have Jamar Chase on the outsides, you have a very, very deadly combination. And I'll tell you, I know the Bengals did not get into the playoffs. If they would have, though, they would have been a scary team to play because they were playing very good at the end of the year.
Joe, I don't know if you noticed this yesterday. Devontae Adams was released from the Jets, just to add on to the fact that...
has he even gotten the Taco Bell installed in his new house yet?
No, he left that back in Las Vegas.
Oh, so he wasn't getting a new Taco Bell and put into the new place?
He knew this was only temporary, but it's also going to save the Jets a lot of money. But for Devontae Adams, where his career is going to go next, I look at the Bengals and I might see a veteran presence, possibly.
They don't
really need him. So
they don't need him.
There's other places I could see him going that are even better than the Cincinnati. I would say the Packers, with all of the injuries, make a return there. Why not? Get back into Green Bay and see if you can have something with Jordan Love. Washington, you got 2 players that are probably going to be free agents. They're probably going to go on to other teams in the wide receiver room. Maybe add on him and bring him on with Terry McLaurin, but then you got 2 older wide receivers. I don't know if you really want to do that. There's the Steelers and the Chargers, who also had to deal with a lot of injury, similar to the Packers.
And I'll tell you the team that I would love to actually see him think about going to.
Okay.
And I want to make sure I'm looking at this right. I would love to see him go to Denver.
I knew you would say that.
I do.
It's the one team I was like, they don't need him.
No, it's you put him with Cortland. You put him with Cortland Sutton, and with Bo that has Bo Nix, which improved throughout the season. That's a very good rushing tandem. And you have, if Javonte Williams can stay healthy, if you can have even McLaughlin to stay healthy, like maybe look at potentially picking up another running back. Okay. It wasn't like the team was bad anyway.
Yeah.
So you add him to that lineup, that could be a good team.
You make a good case right there.
Could be a good team.
Make a good case. Because, they had wide receivers that really started showing out at the end of the season. I couldn't tell you their names. I'm going to be honest with you. Cortland Sutton's the one that was on my fantasy team. And he's that big play, type of dude, similar to a Terry McLaurin. But it really ended up with the rest of the receivers getting the touches. But that would be intriguing. Devontae Adams in the blue and orange up in Mile High would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We got to take it to break. When we come back, cover 5 questions, Joe.
No, it's going to be one question.
Cover 5 question.
We'll cover 5 question. And I
one.
promise you, this is the strangest story I think that you may have ever heard in sports history. Yeah, I'm being serious. Find out next.
Whoa.
On the Blitz.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Atlanta Braves spring training is on from Florida, and this 2025 Brave squad is ready to get after it in Northport.
And he waylays this thing way downtown. Swung on a fly ball, deep left center field, heading towards the gap, that is down for a base hit. Acuna hits the bag at third. Here he comes. Michael Harris taking no prisoners. It's a sweep.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at sensagreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
Washington. There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Thank you for making us your #1 choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Final segment, best segments. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Damn it, my camera.
Where the camera is staring at the doorway.
WZZN TV is the place.
On WZZN TV, you can see it staring at the doorway right now.
Wait. I can do it from here. Watch this. Get over here.
Calm down, Scorpion. Boom. There it is. Thank you.
That's a little off.
All right, so we've only got a few more minutes left, and we're going to get into a couple of Cover 5 questions. But there's a reason I'm asking you this question, John. So anytime we come up with a Cover 5, they're going to be kind of off the wall questions at times, or they're going to be something that obviously you know a lot about that you can give us a call at 256-576-977. And let me ask you, because it's no surprise you are younger than a lot of us. What is the weirdest story that you ever remember seeing in sports history?
Ooh. Okay. There's been a few in my lifetime. All right. Obviously, the Jerry Sandusky story pops up.
Okay, yes.
Obviously, the Arkansas coach pops up. Him, of course, driving on the bike. Was it Patino?
Yeah. Petrino.
Petrino. There you go. That one's pretty weird as well. Oh, Joe, these are questions you gotta at least prep me on a little bit.
There's a reason I'm asking you this, because you also have like the Monte Te'o story.
Oh, that was very weird.
Incredibly weird.
That was a good one.
You have that story. Like
you know what? I'll go with one that's recent. I'm gonna go with the whole scandal behind Shohei Ohtani's manager.
Oh, his interpreter.
His interpreter. Sorry. If it was his manager, it'd be less weird. His interpreter, that's what makes it a little bit crazier.
Yep.
I'll go with that one because he was, of course, taking money from Shohei Ohtani the entire time. And that was pretty weird, I will say.
So I am utterly shocked that this is not more of a story, a movie. I don't understand how all this happened, but what I like to do during this at times is I like to look up and see, like, on this day, this happened. What was that? That's what I say. I felt like I was just letting everybody know the more that you know.
Joe, you didn't give me any music, so I'm just going to go with this one.
Music now. My head's not really in the right space today. 52 years ago, John, 52 years ago on this day, 2 pitchers for the New York Yankees made a major announcement. Now, this was before the 1973 season. Now, let's start there. Do you know what the Yankees did in 1973?
I'm just going to throw out a guess. They won the World Series.
I mean, honestly, if you were going to make a guess about the Yankees, that would probably be a good one.
There's 27 of them.
No, they actually finished 4th in the AL East that year at 80-82.
So not the best year.
No. Definitely not one in Yankees history that you're going to want to remember. But on this day, 52 years ago, 2 Yankee pitchers announced that they had swapped wives and children.
Oh, why? Well, a good old-fashioned wife swap.
The families apparently had been friends since 1969, and that the pitchers made the announcement during spring training in 1973. And it was both of the players actually, it was so odd. They not only did they swap, but then the people that obviously the spouses that they swapped with, then I believe got married.
Okay, so this wasn't a short term, like a little goofy, like a week.
Now they didn't stay together long, but the Yankees then traded one of the players to like Cleveland.
Oh no.
Yes.
Do you take the family? Do you take the guy's family just to Cleveland?
Yeah. So like which
Not
one?
Too far.
Yeah. So when they say, hey, I go talk to the wife and kids. All right. Which wife and kids? Which one?
Did they completely make the switch? And also how old were these kids?
I have no idea. I just learned of this morning.
That's crazy. Were they young enough that they didn't remember who their dad was? Like it just one day he changed and they didn't think anything of it because they were little beans?
See, at the time, I actually thought that this was going to be like a story where like they were twin brothers or something, and then they swapped families. Like that's what I was thinking of.
God.
How many movies have we seen like that?
Got a guy like Burt and Allen. You just like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be your parents now.
Yes.
And also your wife's husband.
So here's some more on it. It says that the arrangement, the pair announced at spring training in March of 1973. The families have been friends since 69. Peterson, which was, what is his name? Fritz Peterson. Okay, so Fritz Peterson and the former lady known as Suzanne Kekich remained married, but the relationship between Kekich and Peterson did not last very long. By June, the Yankees actually traded one of the 2 players. And in 2013, Peterson did an interview and he says, it's a love story. It wasn't anything dirty. I cannot be happier with anybody in the world. Mama and I go out and party every night. We're still on the honeymoon and it has been a blessing. So one of them actually stayed with the other family.
He succeeded. Oh, geez.
You're about to destroy everything that we just built.
So it's got like a 50. Did he get the other family as well? Like, or did the other family just disappear? Did the guy's original wife just disappear with the kids? And then the guy who moved to Cleveland is just like, you know what? I guess I'll find somebody else.
See, now, the way that this is sounding is it almost sounds like Kekich is the one that lost out in this because he gets traded to Cleveland.
Yeah.
He doesn't stay with the other guy's wife.
Well, that alone was a bad thing.
Yeah,
that
getting traded to Cleveland's never a good thing.
Big L.
He gets traded to Cleveland. He never does anything for the rest of his career. He and her get divorced. And I'm assuming that they then just became like one big family.
Mega family.
I don't know how this would work.
Well, so was the guy with the happy ending, he was still married to the other woman, was he? I thought this could only be done in Saudi Arabia.
See, like this is why, how has this not been a bigger story? A major league pitcher trades wives and families with another major league pitcher on the same team.
So why did you find this story? How did you find this story in the first place?
I was looking up stories about things that happened in sports on March 5th, 2025.
Okay.
And on it said that Kirkich and Peterson announced that they had swapped families. And I went, wait, what does that mean?
We love the Wednesday edition of the show, Joe.
And so I started having to research this, and I'm thinking, what do you mean you swapped families?
This went from
not just wives. This isn't like wife swap on Fox. This is entire families, kids and everything.
I don't want to judge.
I mean, I think it's safe to.
But
actually, I believe everybody in the story, as far as the actual adults in this story, I believe they're dead.
Probably.
So, I mean, you can judge.
Can we get? You don't have to say them on the air. Can we get the kids names so we can reach out to them and maybe get them on the show?
I mean, I'm sure we possibly could.
Maybe they don't even know. Do they? Because nobody. That's probably why this story has been on wraps so long, so the kids wouldn't find out. But now the kids are probably 64.
mean, that was 52 years ago. So think about it. If any of them was even 1 year old, they would be 53.
Get them on.
You have to think, like, seriously. Do you not? How has this never been a story?
Get them on. I'll talk to him like this. Like, so what's up, sport?
Sport?
How you doing?
Yeah.
So talk about your past.
So did you call him dad in the very beginning? Like, well, you're not my dad. Mm-hmm.
Who was your dad, actually?
I mean, you know who he is. He's in the bullpen right now. Like, I don't know.
Do you know your daddy played for the Cleveland Indians back in the day?
Yeah, no wonder they got a divorce. No wonder they got a divorce. He became a Cleveland Indian.
Oh, geez.
And they're like, I am not going to Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm stuck.
That was like, this was fine and dandy when we were New York Yankees. And this was the 70s, and we could do anything that we wanted to in the Bronx. But now, I'm not going to Cleveland. I'm not swapping families and going to Cleveland.
Yeah, you can't. That doesn't work in Cleveland, fella.
Was there a contract signed, or was this just kind of like whenever a trade happens in baseball and the two teams just happen to make the trade are playing with each other?
What a weird story.
And the one family just goes over to the other locker room and the other family goes into the other locker room. Like, how does that work?
It's like asking to be in a telenovela.
I don't even know what that is, but yes.
It's just complicated mess.
It absolutely is.
Wow. So you sure you don't have one more question?
I do,
for me?
actually. Today is also National Learn What Your Name Means Day.
Well,
do you know what your name means?
Depends on what we're looking at, but
we're talking first names, not Abraham.
I'm pretty sure it's just the toilet.
No, it actually means God is gracious.
Oh, that's totally different.
That's what John means, is God is gracious in Hebrew.
Well, we're looking at. See, I was thinking the Urban Dictionary definition, but I like that one better.
Yeah, no, that absolutely. John is the toilet. Absolutely. So mine means to add, continue to do. Like,
that's exactly what you're doing.
Literally is my life. I just continue to do things.
You're adding on, you're continuing, and you're doing.
No. Here's the crazy one. Like, the reason why we named our son what we did was because of a family relative for my wife, but his name is Oliver. Do you know what Oliver means in German? Wolf Army.
That's badass.
Seriously.
See, I thought Ollie was just like you named him because you like the skateboard.
No.
Okay.
It means Wolf Army.
Dude.
In German.
I'm just going to call him Wolf Tang.
How legit is that?
That's sick, dude. I want to change my name. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Tom Abraham coming up next.
Bye. I love you.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details. Hey.